equipment, nothing. And what we decided to do? We decided to use our backpack. It is so easy. You know, you are loading your own backpack with 2 kilos, maybe 15 kilos, and you're doing the same exercise you used to do. But one set you're doing, carry your backpack on the back. Second set, you change in position. You put your backpack on the front. And it's easy to make your practice a little bit harder and something new. And next, right now, I'm absolutely sure that everybody, every coach has to understand and think how to get out of these 7 weeks off. We didn't do any running workouts, or if we did, but it was a little bit, you know. You have to understand, we are not supposed to practice and do everything as we used to do. We have to change our practice completely. We have to try to go slow from day to day, but on the other hand, to take under control what we are doing. You can use integrated practice. What it means, you can do in one practice, you can put everything you know, long distance, a little bit faster, and fast. Just example, Monday, you're coming for practice and you're doing 800 meters run. Short warm up, 10-15 minutes. And after that, 800 meters run. For example, 3 minutes, 40 seconds. After that, you are asking to run 2 minutes, 3 minutes walk, and you're running to run 400 meters, but twice faster. If you had 340, it's easy to have that. 400 meters should be 110 seconds. And after that, 200. And after that, 100. 5 minutes rest and 2-3 sets. 2-3 sets, and only after that you can do a bunch of different exercises. But you will be doing this direction for weeks. You have to bring all qualities of athlete qualities back. I mean, cardiovascular and tolerance the volume. It is really very hard. It will be hard. But main point, don't push them for speed. It will come by itself. In 4 weeks, they definitely will do this type of workout faster. It's just example. You can do, if you don't want this idea, you can do different. You can do 10 times 100 meters at speed, 22 seconds, 45 seconds rest, and next set 6, 20 seconds, 30 seconds rest. Next, 4 times 100 meters, 15 seconds rest, speed 19 seconds. You know, it doesn't matter. The main point, you have to follow the rules. You have to understand that you can't put too much load on them immediately after quarantine. Next, my suggestion, if you have any question, please do not hesitate to email me. Ask me your questions, because we have plenty of time to answer to everybody. That's it. Good luck.
Okay, thank you thank you very much. From one 400-meter coach to another one, and we've all heard about, we were all following the sessions of James Tiller. And now, James, maybe you can add on to what Galina has said. Can we make James a co-host? Can you make James Tiller a co-host? Yeah, we're having some troubles with the internet today. Okay, James.
Yeah. Okay.
How's it going?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I'm my hair is longer than yours, Volker. My hair's clearly growing faster than yours. But
Yeah, I lost it over the last 5 weeks.
I can imagine. Galina, very interesting, and I agree with you. So I think, for me, everything has to be done progressively. So coaches, you need to basically, start somewhere and know where you're going to get to, and you need to do it in gradual steps. Okay. So the example Galina talked about was the 800, bringing it down to 400 to 200, etc. That's a really good example of a progressive session where you start somewhere where you know the athlete can do, and then you gradually increase the intensity of that workout. Be very careful with the speed work, because particularly the hamstrings will now be deconditioned for speed. So we have to now start preparing the body for speed. We have to condition the body for speed. We have to condition the body for speed endurance. And that takes time. So you can't sprint, or it's dangerous to sprint if the body isn't conditioned to sprint. So my advice to you all before sprinting is get the body conditioned so it can handle sprinting, so it can handle speed, so the athlete can handle intensity. As we know, intensity is the most important thing that you must understand in particularly in sprinting, but in all of the athletic events. Intensity is the thing that causes injuries and stuff like that. So yes, just be very progressive with the loading, be progressive with the intensity, and just make sure that the athletes are conditioning themselves for the thing that you are working towards before you do that thing. I think that's the biggest advice I can give.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much. Also for your contributions to this course, and for sharing your presentation. I really appreciate that. Maybe James, can you give us a bit of insight of coaches development in the UK, and whether there's something like AFI or the Indian system can learn from or benefit from, or you see us on the right track?
Yeah, so we had a huge review of coaching in the UK post the 2008 Olympics, and we had some new members of staff that came in, and we really shifted the focus in the organization from an athlete centered model to more of a coach centered model. What we sort of figured out was that athletes sort of come and go, whereas coaches would tend to stay for long periods of time. In the UK, the coaching system is primarily a volunteer-based system, certainly at the grassroots and the development level, and we have a club-based system. So we really wanted to reach out, and we wanted to support the volunteer coaches in the club-based system, predominantly at the development and the grassroots level. So what we did was we launched in 2008, we launched a mentoring program. It was called the National Coach Development Program. And there's some of the things that we did. Volker is doing fantastically well here now. He's got an incredible vision for you guys. And what we did is we set up a series of mentors for the coaches, and we set up lots of coach education and coach development sessions. So we started off with the less experienced coaches doing more formal education up to a level, and then after that we did more coach development activities, so less formal learning through mentoring. And we assigned the coaches, the identified coaches, mentors, and the mentors would travel to spend time with the coaches in their own environment. They would help the coaches learn, grow. They would pass on snippets of information, whether it be good books to read, journals to read, and just basically share information. And what happened was we got, we sort of broke down the barriers of mistrust. Coaches started realizing that actually it was advantageous to work together, even though they were coaching athletes that were potentially competing against one another. They realized everyone needed to get better. So coaches started trusting one another, and coaches started sharing. They started sharing their knowledge, sharing their experience, and we created a really nice community where people felt part of something special. And it was an incredibly powerful initiative. And guess what? We focused on the coaches, we focused on the coach education, the development. We created a community of coaches that shared information, and the performances of the athletes skyrocketed. I don't have the statistics to hand here, but I can dig them out, and I can perhaps share them with Volker, and he can share them with some of you. But the statistics in the speed events where I was involved, I was the national coach mentor for speed. The results were staggering. Not only the results of the best athletes, but the strength in depth. And I think that is an area where India can improve. The strength in depth of athletes in India, if that improves, that will push the top athletes to have to be better. And that is
awesome.
a byproduct of supporting the coaches.
Yeah, definitely. I fully agree with that. And I think what you were talking about is eventually to initiate a coach's pathway. And that's something we definitely have to work on together with the Sports Authority of India and our stakeholders. Yeah, thank you, James. Thank you very much. I want to pass a mic back to Galina, because we've received a couple of questions, and we all know that we have a couple of extraordinary 400-meter sprinters in the country. But we also know that, especially when young athletes, when they're coming to the camp, often they are lacking in speed. They often come from an endurance background. They do a lot of long intervals, long tempo runs, continuous runs in their training. And Galina, maybe you can elaborate a bit more on the importance of speed training for the 400-meter runners.
Absolutely sure to everybody. Speed is the key to each event, even for 800 meters. For 400 meters, it is very, very important. But also, it is important for each coach to understand how much natural speed abilities your athletes have. You know, last year, my question to Federation was to give me opportunity to work with 200 sprinters. I don't remember the name right now, but I'm sure that my assistant Rajmon remember all names. These three guys, 200 meters in the range of 21 seconds for practice with our group. Yes, they came up for practice, but mentally they were not ready. They didn't understand what it means 400 meters. 400 meters takes a lot of courage from people, a lot of courage. And you have to love this distance. But if you don't like it, if you don't like this hard workout, you never ever will be a very good 400 meters, even you will have a very good speed. That's hard. When you start to work with people, you have to know their sprint abilities. But also you have to understand there are two ways to very high performance at 400 meters. The short answer, yes, it is very important. But I never say that you have to spend more time to pick up your speed for 2/10 of seconds than to pick up speed endurance for the whole second of improvement. Important, guys, but hard to find sprinter who wants to be a 400 meters runner. Next.
Yeah, thank you. I think it was a very comprehensive answer, and please, coaches, yeah, think about that. We have to develop the 400 meters, also coming from a speed perspective, not only focusing on the endurance, because you don't have enough 400 meter sprinters who are fast enough on the 200 meters in India. If you want to run below 45 seconds, you should be able to come close to 20.6, 20.7 at least on the 200. For girls below 51 seconds, you need to be able to run close to 23.0 on average. So let's probably reconsider that.
I want to add a couple of words.
Okay, and I just hear that Galina was not yet finished. Apologies for that. So of course we give her a chance to finish her statement. Thank you.
Guys, the best answer to this question, look 4x400 meters Olympic Games in Seoul. And you will see the last leg of USA team, Joe Flo. She had 10:49 and 21:39. And she ran last leg for 400 meters relay. And she couldn't do anything against the Russian girls who competed only in 400 meters. It's a very good, interesting race. And it is a good answer to your question. Speed is excellent, but not the answer for final outcome. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, great. Maybe I'll pass the next question to our javelin coaches. Uwe and Klaus, can you probably explain us a bit more about the importance of speed for javelin throwers and how to develop that, especially with the young players?
Yes, speed in javelin throw and special the release speed. It's one of the most important parts and factors. And surely also the run-up speed. Run-up speed with good technique leads into high release speed. But I don't know who heard my presentation before. I also said that the release speed, it's important, but important, also very important, and probably more important for really great results are the angles. The angles, release angle, angle of attack, angle of jaw, and the quality of javelin flying. We can easily, with the same release speed, lose 5, 6, 7 meters on result if we don't put it in the right direction.
Yeah, and speed matters also to all the other parts of the training. Starting with the weightlifting, we would like to call accelerating weight training. Not important to lift a maximum weight like the weightlifter, more important to lift the weight with a high acceleration, like to throw it away. So this is how we develop speed, and starting with this also with the young athletes, throwing stones, light balls, coming in the area of the velocity of release we would like to have later on. We're talking here about 30 meters per second. It means more than 100 kilometers per hour the javelin is flying. Running with 6, 7 meters per hour, but then 4 times more, accelerating the implement. That makes it so difficult in our event and so challenging.
And sure, you should start with develop speed in young age. But we also do it still with our top athletes that we throw with very light balls, like golf balls. So we are really fast and develop the speed, special leading into competition.
Yeah, thank you. So we realize it's not only for the sprinters or the jumpers, it's important to develop a high speed or high velocity, also for the thrower. And I feel this has to start early at a younger age. Maybe a question to Klaus. You've been working in China for, I think, 7 years. You've been working in Germany as a sports scientist. What do you think? What are aspects of coaches education or coaches development we can probably implement here in India, or how important you feel is to reach out to the coaches on the ground?
Didn't really understand.
Ja, du warst Coach im Ausland, in China und so weiter. Was nimmst du damit aus deiner Vergangenheit als Biomechaniker?
Looking back and having all these issues about speed, strength, technique development in mind, one of the most important things is for the coach, how goes the coach into the thick of these things? The coach must know actually more than the sports scientist has to, because this coach has to come out with the questions. So that what I found was our strong part in Germany, in East Germany, when we worked with coaches and athletes. So the questions came from the coaches. They want to develop performances and have to ask the scientists how you can help us with this. In other countries, this approach is not so developed. Yeah? When I remember how the Chinese athletes started to sprint, it was far from what they do now, 7, 8, 9, 10 years later. So this question that the arms should move parallel to the body, walking in running direction and not opposite to this. Such ideas were also not developed. It comes to the implementation of sciences, of application of principles like how to add forces in one direction, not only a component, but that all force has to go into the javelin, into the center of gravity when we run, and not under certain angles to the running direction.
Yeah, thanks. That was a very interesting aspect. I think that we have to develop the coaches to be able to ask questions to the scientists. So I feel that's something we need to address within the next years, to hire the scientists who are able to work with us, and also to enable our coaches to ask the right questions. Over to Mr. Radhakrishnan, and probably our president, Mr. Adil, is also able to contribute to these questions. One question is coming up, since we are talking so much of the importance of youth development. The question is, what is AFI doing? Are we paying more attention to develop or start a grassroots program for the kids or for the children? Yeah, maybe Mr. Radhakrishnan or Adila, you can introduce a few of the ideas regarding the NITJAM.
I think it is best that our president speak about it, because we have a very good junior program. I think it is in world is the biggest junior program. Sir, can you please give some more ideas about this?
So let me tell you that this program is about 16 years old. This was started many years ago by when Mr. Suresh Kalmadi was the president and Dr. Manot was the Secretary General. This is absolutely a program which today is showing results. Before that, there was an ITC junior program, which then got converted to inter-district, where all the districts from India are supposed to send 13 athletes. Their food, accommodation, travel, everything is paid for by the Athletics Federation of India. It's a huge program. Today we have over 500 districts. Our aim is to have 600 districts. At the next meet, when we started, we hardly had less than 100 districts. This is because at the grassroots level, the problem is the structure that we have, which is international, national, state, and district level. The districts are not doing the work that they should be doing. And we are going into the districts and the states. So we've already done 2 states. The chairman of the Planning Commission, Dr. Bhanot, and myself have decided to visit every state, have a meeting of all the district presidents and secretaries. We've done Kerala, we've done Rajasthan. We will soon be doing video conferencing with all the other states till it opens up, and then we will visit all the states. The whole aim is that if at grassroots level, the district secretaries and the presidents are not organizing athletics, then we will not have a feeder group coming up. About 5 years ago, maybe about 3-4 years ago, we started kids athletics. We got one person from every state, and it was what's his name?
Mr.
Pulka,
Gunda.
what's our friend's name from IAAF?
Mr. Gunda, sir, he came for the...
Gunta Langa was here. He took classes. We trained people who would then go and do kids athletics in their own states. But except, I think, with Rajiv Joshi doing in Maharashtra and 1 or 2 doing elsewhere, they're not doing kids athletics. People are more interested in only training, coaches are more interested in only training elite athletes. They want to train elite athletes so they become famous, they get glory, they get cash awards. But there are very, very few people who are interested in working at grassroots level. And that is the basic foundation. That is where you teach the athlete the right things, as you've learned now over the last 4 or 5 weeks, the different aspects of throwing, running, jumping, training, the drills that you do, the microcycles, the planning, all this, if you can start with the youngsters, where you don't burn out the youngsters. Kids athletics is more fun. So unless we focus at district level, and that is our aim. A lot of states were not doing work. So we got the districts to come directly to the national championship so we could do a talent search. From this, we are now, at the last meet, we had a battery of tests conducted to check our athletes' talent. There was dope control. So there is a lot that we are doing at grassroots level, but we are finding less and less coaches who are ready to go down to grassroots level and work. At the youth level, we are even finding difficult to get coaches at youth level. Good coaches don't want to work at the youth level. They only want to work at the senior level. So my sincere request is that work at the grassroots level, work with the elite athletes. If you have to work separately with elite and work separate, but grassroots level, AFI can't do anything. It is the coaches who have to train them. What can AFI do? That we are educating more and more coaches, and we hope that some of these coaches will go to the grassroots level. And the NITJAM program is the largest program of youth and juniors in the world, as declared by World Athletics. It is the largest program in the world. Now that is what we are doing from our side. But we need more people to work at grassroots level and at district level. And, you know, normally every time there is some excuse or the other, we don't have a ground, we don't have this, we don't have that. You need a Maidan. You don't need a fancy synthetic track. Yes, don't do pole vault, don't do hammer throw where you can kill somebody. But you can do sprints, you can do 400, 800, 1500, 5000. All these events can be done. Long jump pit can be made, shot put can be done, discus can be done, javelin can be done. So most districts, I hear that, oh, we don't have any facility. No, it's not acceptable. So my dear coaches, I request you to spend some time on junior and youth development with the knowledge that now you have got. Ensure that our youth has a very, very strong base. And when they come to the national camps and when they be trained as elite athletes, the coaches don't have to undo what you have done before. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And I just like to add something more, little bit more. We have started a coaches education program to train our grassroots level coaches, because we found that we have coaches to work with elite athletes, but we were not having most of the, as our president said, most of the coaches wanted to train elite athletes only and to get fame and whatever fortunes. But now we started a coaches education program from 2018. The target of our president was to create 1,000 coaches in 5 years, but we found that it is quite less. So within 3 years itself, we are touching a target of 1,000 coaches. Already we have about 580 level 1 coaches. They are supposed to work in youth, that is target, grassroots level athletes in districts. So AFI planning committee is also planning to distribute these coaches to the districts. We will be requesting the states to have a database of the level 1 coaches with them, and we will request districts to, states to contribute, distribute these coaches to the district, at least to the schools where they are taking some interest. That's all I want to add. So thank you, sir.
One more thing I want to add, that now we have moved our target to 5,000 coaches, because we think that there should be at least 6 or 7 coaches in each of the districts. So if there are active 650 districts out of the 700 odd, yes, some districts may be in very hilly areas and so I'm saying out of 700 and odd districts, at least 650 districts, there should be 5 or 6 level 1 coaches at least, who can work on a very strong base. And that is our aim, to produce, again, in the coaches education, again, we are the largest in the world. We are the largest in the world for coaches education, both in level 1 and level 2. So the Athletic Federation is doing tremendous amount of work, but people have to come forward, and people then, once they come forward, I have told Radha, people are taking a certificate and then not working in the field. So now we are going to track every single person who's got an IAAF qualification, and now we are talking to IAAF that if they're not working, then they're only doing some private coaching for fitness and trying to make money. We have no problem with that, but side by side, they must work in the field. And if they don't, we are going to cancel their certification. We are talking to IAAF how to cancel their certification if they don't work in the field. So they take a certificate to get a job, etc., and then don't do any work. And we don't want to waste a seat, because every time we can only take 24 athletes, coaches, and there is a big waiting list. And then you take a slot, you fill up a slot, and then you don't work in the field. So we have various, so it's very easy to ask what is AFI doing, but I think one needs to ask what are we doing. And I know most of you coaches are doing an excellent job, most of you, and you all are very, very committed. But there are a lot of people who come, take a certificate and don't work. And we have a problem with those people, not people like you who are very serious with work. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now, Walker, will we invite Mihira to share some?
Sorry, I want to go ahead with one athlete, the only medal winner at world level, Anju Bobby George, who was also joining us throughout the last weeks. I'm really grateful for her support. And Anju, it would be great if you were sharing maybe a few of your experiences during the NITJAM meeting as well with us.
Okay, thank you, Funka. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, AFI and Sai. Actually, it was a wonderful educational program which covered almost fundamentals of training, recovery, nutrition, training methodology, skill development, and actually various other aspects of training and performance related. I was observed that our president was, Adil sir was present throughout the session, and it's very evident that AFA is taken special interest in this program. I hope that this will give a new direction and dynamics to Indian athletics. Actually, 21 days, it's quite a long period, and learning science, it's quite boring actually, at least for me. But I think in spite of all these, the attendance was really great. So this is one of the largest platform for e-learning program in the history. And thank you, Mr. Folke and the team for making it quite interesting. Actually, we are the largest country and we have great potential in athletics, I can say. And it's time for India to make a better stake in global athletics, actually. Actually, we can summarize everything into two aspects, training management and competition management. So in my observation, our training should be more precise and more focused. And we need to emphasize on quality, actually. And coaches should be ready to accept changes, It's actually a quite challenging job. And actually, we need to bring professionalism in athletics. And I am proud to say that I was the first professional athlete from India, even though I reached there in a very late stage. But I could stay there for a longer period, and I could adapt the system very fast, actually. Actually, it's a duty of a coach to empower the athlete to grow into knowledge so that they can both can communicate at the same wavelength. And actually, we need clarity in coaching and skill development, and also peaking at the right time. We need to face the competition. The coaches should face the competition with a fearless attitude. That makes, I think, a great coach. I can say that I was lucky in that sense because I got Bobby at the right age, and he was exploring new ideas, new possibilities, and new opportunities in global athletics, And actually, he never made my training boring, and every session was a new learning process, actually. He used to actually his competition strategy was very unique. He used to assess my opponents and even their coaches with their body language, and he used to give a very precise feedback to me, actually. That gave me a psychological upper hand in most of the competition. So actually, he used to insulate me from all other external issues, and so I can completely concentrate in my training. Actually, I can say that we have to strong belief in fundamentals, but methods can be different. So even modern sports science is changing every year. So it's the choice of a coach to customize a unique program for his trainee to get the best. I think an innovative coach always can develop a special method in training. And you always need to make your athlete self-sustainable, because they are not only performers, so they are entertainers as well, no? And we are making role models. So that's what Bobby was always trying to do, but I'm not sure whether I succeed in that. But actually, the training is not only for the sake of training. We have to win, we have to compete, and we have to challenge the world. And I can say that this is time for India to challenge the world. Actually, NITJAM, it was a great platform for us because we got 13 good athletes, youth athletes from that program. they are training with us. We are looking for the younger group. Bobby is looking for the younger group. I can say that maybe next Olympics, 2024 Olympics, we may get some podium finish from one of these athletes. So I'm really confident in that. Thank you, Volker, for giving us a great opportunity. Really, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think that was a very nice summary of the last weeks. It's all about using the science and adjusting it according to your athletes and make your training fun as well. So thank you very much for sharing your insights as well. And from one powerful woman, I want to move over to another one. And that was the only session during our course where we could not finish because we were running out of time. And I would like to ask Mihira, our nutritionist from the Reliance Corporation, who is working with our top athletes, to share some of her impressions and maybe once again to point out briefly the importance of nutrition for our athletes and also for developing athletes. Mihira, are you there?
Yes.
Mihira, you can unmute yourself.
Yes, got it. Thank you very much, Volker. And I must add that it's been as learning a session for me as well, because I attended a few of the sessions of Radha sir on periodization and yours on microcycle. And I think the more I understand athletics, the more I understand the way you plan, I think it's easier for me to plan my nutrition accordingly as well. So just to give everybody a quick snapshot, because we had the longest session on nutrition and we couldn't land up finishing it, just as a quick summary or snapshot, I think we started the whole presentation understanding carbohydrates, proteins and fats to the basics, and we figured out what are the major sources of those carbohydrates, sources of those proteins, as well as sources of those fats. And we said that there are certain types of carbohydrates and proteins and fats that we need to focus to consume before, during and after your training session, so that we have the maximum training adaptations during the entire training routine. We went on to highlight a few micronutrients that are extremely important, and we stressed upon iron, we stressed upon calcium, we stressed upon vitamin D and B12, and we said that all of these are not just important for the elitist athletes, but also for those athletes who are budding in and reaching their peak height velocities and having those pubertal changes during their growth phases. And we went on, and I think we highlighted a lot of these foods that we can easily find in our kitchen, and they can land up giving us very good results in terms of their active components. So whether it was that beetroot juice, which is so rich on nitrates that you could have 2 to 3 hours before your training session, and it could dilate your blood vessels and push in all that oxygen and nutrients inside your cell, so that your cells can take in that nutrition for energy, for training, and give out that lactic acid or any waste that is, so that the clearance is better. We discussed about our Indian gooseberries or avlas, which are extremely rich on vitamin C. And we said that we don't need to do anything specific or extra for recovery, but just popping in that shot, one avla shot as a juice post your training session can reduce your muscle soreness and get you ready for the next training session. And we discussed about so many fruits, especially pineapple and papaya and pomegranate, which are extremely rich on a particular enzyme, which play a very important role in muscle recovery as well. And so many other things, like trying to add enough garlic and ginger, etc. in your plan. So I think the first step always continues to be having that whole foods approach. And like Anju ma'am also said, the fundamentals have to be correct. The same thing goes with nutrition. Having that foundation and a strong fundamental in nutrition is the first priority. And you will see that most problems of recovery, etc., would go away if we just do the basics right. So I think that's the gist of what we discussed in our class. And sorry that it went on for the longest time.
No, that was a pleasure listening to you, and I think nutrition plays a vital role in our holistic development of the athletes. So, yeah, thanks a lot. We will have hopefully a few more sessions with you here, and we're definitely looking forward to our extended cooperation in the future. One of the groups which is closely working together with Mihira is 4x100 meter sprinters. And I think you all know Coach Nagesh now. He was together with Raj Mohan introducing some of the key drills for sprinters, jumpers, and runners. And maybe Nagesha, maybe you can underline again the importance of the correct exercises and also your plans for the future with the 100-meter sprinters.
Yeah. Can you hear, sir?
Yeah, you can hear.
Thank you, sir. Good morning to all. Yeah, before I go for next season, just I want to share some what we did in last season.
Maybe you can talk a bit louder.
Yeah, good morning to all. Yeah, before I go for next season, I want to share some what we did in last season, especially in 400 meter girls. Last season, we started preparation at November 2019. We focused more individual based programs. It worked especially in the technical part as well as strength part. We introduced new drills like penquin and a lot of related to the sprint mechanics. Yeah, so it worked. And alternately, we have worked on maximum strength like in eccentric method. That is also it works. It works for we didn't see the major injuries, especially while we are when we are in pre-competition time. So that is really works. There is no major injuries in that time, and also we focused relay exchanges more. That is also works. Yeah, for next season, I already shortlisted their individual strengths and weaknesses as individual athletes, as well as what we missed in last season. So for example, some athletes we missed speed endurance sessions, some athletes we missed lack of speed, for example, like that. And also I made the list an individual what we more focus on next season. For example, for Archana, one athlete, Archana, she is very good in speed endurance, but she is very lax in acceleration part as well as starting blocks. And one of the athlete, Snega, he is very good in endurance, basic endurance, but lack of in speed and lack of coordination in strength training. And one of the athlete, Himashri, she is very good in acceleration part and very good in technique in acceleration part, but after in the acceleration part, the technique is very poor, and we are working on it. And two young girls are there, like they are Daneshwari and Kaveri. They both are doing well, but we are not focusing more on performance based for them, but we are focusing on individual performance, like not overloading, for example. So we are only focusing for their little bit more on technical part and coordination part, as well as strength part. Yeah, it's a very good experience for me, as well as what could be done for next to if we prepare the documents like this.
Yeah, thank you. So again, it's all about individualization and customization, understanding the strengths and weaknesses of your athletes to optimize programs. We received what? Yeah.
Volker, can I just give an answer for a question? It's a very general. When my president is our president, can I?
Of course.
This is regarding. This is not on the question on day today. I was watching this question almost all the session which we had. Some of the very outstanding coaches, as well as our level 1 coaches, today also one of the level 1 coach and the Sai coach working in the center, she was asking, you are very particular about specialization, event specialization, and you insist us to not to do the event specialization by the age of 16. But we are forced by the authorities mean the stakeholders, to give performance even at the age of 14 and 15. So we are forced to specialize, or we are forced to overtrain these young grassroots level athletes. What AFI or what she's asking what I can do, but I can't do anything alone. It is by, but for your information, recently the technical committee meeting held with Mr. Walker and me and the expert of technical person in AFI, we have changed a lot of event distance under 16, and we have changed the weight of throwing implements, and we have changed the even distance. Like for example, there is no 400, there is 300, and we have made some other changes. It will be coming in force. It was supposed to come in force in this year, but of course we did not had much competitions. And please, whatever you can convince your authority about the growth and development of an athlete, and you can. That is what I wanted to say. And sir, you like to add something on this subject? Sir, you like to add something on this issue that some of the coaches working in grassroots level, they are forced to give performance in the grassroots level by the other authorities.
No, which authority?
Authority means whether it is a school, whether it is high scheme or whatever it may be. Sir. It is happening. It is true fact in one to an extent. So how they are asking how we can stop this? How can we help them to get rid of it?
See, as we've heard in the last few weeks, that there is lot of work that you can do with the athlete on the athlete's all-round development. Also remember that at school level, when the athlete is 13 or 14 in a school, there are certain athletes who play all sport. Okay, so you encourage them to play all sport. Don't go into specific workouts. Do all different sorts of workouts with them, and their performance will come anyway. When they do when they are the same athletes are doing athletics during athletic season, they're playing football during football season, they're playing basketball during basketball season. So don't give them any very, very highly specific training, but develop them so that they can play all sport and their results will come automatically. Don't burn the athlete out, because, according to me, it is criminal. It is criminal because an athlete is a talent of the nation. And if we are burning out the athlete, we are burning out talent of the nation. And therefore work smart so your athletes will have good performance as they are developing. Because I've seen in 90% of the athletes who at school level, most of them who are good at sports will play all sport. And therefore push them into playing all sport and keep them away from very, very specific training so that you don't burn the athlete out at a very early age.
Yeah, I think that was a very good summary. According to this, Mr. Radhakrishnan, I wanted to ask another question to you. And this was actually raised by one of the coaches in Patiala. When we are considering these different performance stages of an athlete, or the different development stages, in your eyes, does it make sense even to adjust like the coach's education so that we have athletes who are focusing more on the youth and junior development, maybe some other coaches working in high performance, a few others on the grassroots level or at the schools? So does it make sense to like customize coaches' education according to the specificity or the requirements?
Volker, of course, our coaches development program in the country is framed such in that way. For example, we have level 1 coaches. Level 1 coaches responsibility to train youth athletes. We call them as youth coach. And then after completing level 1 and getting eligible for level 2, after working with athletes for about a year, they are coming for level 2. And level 2 coaches are known as coaches to train junior athletes, that is under 20, between 16. That doesn't mean that level 2 coach will not coach the grassroots level. And then comes elite coaches. Elite coaches, of course, IAAF has not started it, and the new latest program of elite coaches, that is level 3 coaches. So the level 3 coaches are supposed to handle the elite athlete in the national camps, etc. But this is our World Athletic System, and AFI also following the same thing. Even nowadays, we are insisting that a coach joining in the national coaching camp should have minimum junior or senior national coaching camp should have minimum level 2 certification of athletic federation. And I like to add that in our domestic coaches education system, that is in our in the country's coaches education system, that is at very high level, and I'm sure that they are able to handle the elite athletes, but it is very difficult for them to handle the youth and junior athletes. I think my answer is comfortable and clear. Walker.
Yes. Thank you very much. I think that's the way to go, that we also differentiate our coaches education according to the Indian demands in the future. And this course in the last weeks definitely helped us to sharpen the profile of our coaches as well. We have a couple of questions regarding the recovery, and I would ask Galina again, what are the measures you usually undertake to shorten the recovery time for your athletes?
What are the measures for what?
Yeah, what kind of recovery mechanisms are you implementing in your training program?
For me, it is really very important recovery to just change workout. You have to understand completely what you have to recover from. You have to recover athletes after hard running out or after weight workout. But all of us, we know the best recovery slow runs. Not sleep, not doing nothing, just slow activity. This is the best recovery. A lot of people, they don't like it. They don't like it. But you have to convince them that they have to, instead of sleeping additional hours, they have to go outside for a walk and for a jog. And you know what is interesting? It is coming to them through their own experience. Watching my group, Indian guys, I and you always have to explain them that you are responsible training part of, but they athletes themselves, they are responsible for recovery, and they have to understand everything. They like sauna, they have to go sauna. If they don't like sauna, that's okay. But easy, light activity days. That's it.
Okay, thanks. Okay, that's me. Rashmo, other question we want to ask, or which has been raised several. Are you audible? Maybe another last question to Klaus and Uwe. Coming from a strong scientific background and also working with like hundreds of different throwers all over the world, what would you say is the best way to identify potential talents in the throw, especially at a younger age? Yeah, wait, you have to unmute yourself first.
Let him throw tennis balls, hockey balls, also such type of stuff. So then you will see the talent who can run up and block and smash, have good coordination, beside other coordination tests. Yeah.
Yeah, many good javelin throwers have a background like a multi-event athlete, like this only just few days ago passed away, big thrower Jan Janis Luzes. He did almost close to 8,000 points as decathlon before he specialized to javelin. German talents coming with a background from handball. So Thomas Röhler comes from jumping. Yeah? So it shows that more important is the general ability for athletics to be fast, to have good coordination, to learn quick techniques. Many javelin thrower have in their training programs also gymnastics, like a little bit acrobatic or slackline. So that's if someone can learn these different sports and events very quick, then it's good sign that he has talent.
Okay, great. Yeah, so it's not only about the physical aspects; it's also about the ability to quickly learn, to catch up new movements, and of course to have a strong base of coordination. Thank you very much. I think we are coming to an end now. Apologies for the very unstable internet connection today. Sometimes it's not predictable. Once again, I would like to take the chance, of course, to thank our president, Mr. Dilo Sumariwala, for regularly joining the sessions and contributing almost every day. For Mr. Radhakrishnan, our deputy chief coach and director of coaches education, to come up with that idea and to conduct coaches. To Ms. Galina for having a very into this coaching program, sharing a bit about her ideas, coaching principles, and for answering all the questions coming up. Had Nihira, who did an excellent session on sports nutrition. Miss Anju Bob George, our only medal winner at World Championships, also for joining the sessions and for sharing her input. For Klaus and Uwe, having a very technical and
Polka, we lost you. Polka. Polka, we've lost you. Polka. Radha. What happened to
Sir, there is a problem of internet here in Patiala to made it all right.
Then let me conclude.
I apologize for this state. We are of course using the mobile data, which is not that effective internet.
Radha, let me conclude. If you have a net problem, so we can.
Please, sir. Please, sir. Please conclude, sir.
Yeah, I want to thank Folka and Radha for setting up this whole course. It's really, and supported by Nagesh and Rajmohan. It's really been excellent learning for me at least. And I hope that you coaches have learned much more than me, and you're going to take home and do whatever you need to do. Very interesting, some of the stuff said today by Dr. Klaus and Uwe Horn on forces, that forces, all the forces moving in one direction. There are no forces working in opposite directions. James talking about working together, all the coaches working as a team for the betterment of everybody. Mihira talking about just simple fruits like beetroot and abla and other things, just simple fruits instead of going for supplements. I also want to thank Galina, my favorite, of course, all-time favorite, who has such clear thinking in whatever she says. Dr. Majumdar, Anju, thank you for a very, very interesting talk to all of us. I see Bobby there every day. Bobby, I think, is one of the finest coaches in the country, but he spends so much time on learning new things. So learning is a continuous process, and I always, whenever we are planning committee meeting, Bobby has great contribution to make. We've had a lot of foreign people attending from Bhutan, Bangladesh, New Zealand, Australia. Valerie Adams, 4 times world champion, twice Olympic champion, has been attending the last few days. Jeff Gardner, the vice president of World Athletics and the chairman of the Development Commission of World Athletics, has been attending. So I think all in all, this has been an excellent program. I want to thank DG Sai, my friend Sandeep Pradhan, and Senior ED Colonel Bishnoi for setting this whole thing up, and Chairman of the Planning Commission, Dr. Banot, for this whole program and getting it on this, getting it moving. So I hope you take back with you some good learnings. Again, I say learning is a continuous process. Keep learning, keep updating yourself. And there is a famous saying, ask not what the country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. I'm saying again, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Yes, we need to all work together, and good luck. God bless you all. And I hope we can all work together to make athletics even better, that we fulfill our dream of an Olympic medal. We have a world championship medal in Anju, but now we need an Olympic medal. Anju was very close to that. At the moment, she's still 4th after disqualification of dope people. There were some more dope people who should have got disqualified, and Anju would have had an Olympic medal, but at this moment we don't. So let's work together, all of us as a team, to fulfill the dream of our country to get an Olympic medal in athletics. Thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Now, our president has extended thanks to you all. Once again, being the program coordinator, I thank you all, especially to our AFI president, who was always with us from the day one and to the complete program. It is not, whenever they have some problems, he used to inform me that I'm leaving at 11 or 10:45, but almost all the days, the complete program used to attend even the question and answer session. And thank you to all participants. There are some participants like our chief national coach, he's also very old, about 73 plus old, and Mr. T.P. Avusep, he was also a regular participant. And thanks to you all, and special thanks to you all, and thanks to all, and the Secretary General of Bangladesh. He was also present all the days, and he was very keen to learn. And like my friend from us, our president said, there were participants from Malaysia, Thailand, Maldives, all the SAF countries, in addition, Malaysia and Thailand, and from New Zealand even. Thank you, sir. Thank you for us to give us thank you, President, sir, to give us a platform. And we, with the cooperation of AFI, me and Mr. Walker is organizing short mentoring programs. And then we will inform you all as per the level of coaches, because we are already having a program for the level 2 coaches, that is high level coaches education program, which already we started on 27th of March. Most of the coaches of middle and long distance sprints already had 3 or 4 sessions. And now coming up with the combined, tomorrow we have a session for combined events and jumps, where Mr. Wolfgang Killing will be giving a mentoring program for high jump. So we will be, we assure you, sir, we will be continuing this program of coaches education, as we all know that without coaches, we can't produce athletes. So we will have, as he said, we need 5,000 coaches. The target has been changed, as he said, 1,000, but now we made it within 5 years. We'll at least create about 4,000 plus coaches, level 1 coaches, and much number of level 2 coaches. So I expect that this is not a medal, as everyone says it is a medal in Olympics, but it is the nearest target, a medal in Olympics. But in 24, 28, we can, if we all work together, surely we can win medals in Olympics. Thank you so much. And Walker, if you want to add anything, we can join.
Yeah, I think there's nothing much to add. Unfortunately, I've been interrupted by the internet earlier. Thanks again to support of AFI and SAI, of course, Mr. Didi Sumariola, Dr. Vanot, Sandeep Pradhan, the DG of SAI, Commander Roger Gopalan, Noy, who supported us with the infrastructure here in Patiala. Thanks to all the speakers. That was really a world-class lecturer field. And thanks to you as well. I want to conclude with one coach said, Saraswati Chand, she was saying it's very easy to speak in an AC room, but it's very hard to work in the field. And that's exactly what all of us are going to do, hopefully in the next weeks, the next months, that we continue working on the field, that we're applying our knowledge, and that we try to become better every single day. Yeah. So it was a pleasure for me. I'm working with you over the last 5 weeks. I already wish you all the best for this examination, which will happen, I think, in 2 weeks' time. Don't be afraid if you go through the PowerPoint presentations, and by now, I think all of them should have been uploaded at AFI's website. You will definitely be able to easily succeed in this exam as well, and hopefully you will succeed in your future coaching career. And I'm looking forward to meet all of you back on the field during the several competitions we can hopefully start by end of September onwards. Let's keep in touch. If you have any questions, again, feel free to write to education@indianathletics.in. And in the meanwhile, all the best to you and your families. Stay healthy, stay safe, and also ensure that your athletes are doing the same. Yeah. Thanks a lot for a wonderful time. We see you. Bye.
I think now, Mr. Kamal Ali Khan, are you available? Mr.